So in addition to the analytics tool that we have, one of the things we're also known for is our industry insights blog, which you can catch if you go to flurrymobile.tumblr.com. And we also post a lot about what we do at Flurry Mobile on Twitter. Some examples of the kinds of research that we do is we had an app loyalty index that originally was published in 2012, and we recently revamped it for 2016. And basically what the matrix shows you is by app category, the frequency with which people come and visit those kinds of apps, and then also 30-day retention. So, a lot of times I get asked questions like, what's a good retention rate? And I think that that's a question that depends a lot on the kind of app and the utility to a user. And so given that, this is a great way for people to kind of understand where their app fits in with other things in the market in a similar space. We also created a section specifically for sub-gaming categories, because we also know that not all games are created equal. So, if you go and check out the study, you can see both by Android and iOS the breakdown of the gaming subcategories as well.
Well, since you mentioned that, what are the things that people most track when they're doing a game?
Yeah. So in terms of games, I think, again, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about, where you have to know your goal in terms of revenue, and then understanding where players are in levels. So I think one thing to think about is, do you have a freemium model game? Do you have one that is more like based on in-app purchases? Are you showing ads, right? So I think thinking about those things is important, but we do know that people are using the analytics to understand things like, is a level in a game too hard, right? So if you're seeing that users are consistently playing the game, and then maybe there's a level after which you see a huge drop off in users coming back, maybe that's a sign that the level is too hard, or the users have moved on to a different game, right? And we know that that's a category where you kind of have to keep users engaged. So I think you can also do things like test push notifications at different times and see if there's different messaging that you can use to get users to come back to the game, as well as iterate on different things that are inside.
So push notifications, you talk about those. What specifically in Flurry helps with that?
Yeah, so right now we have the ability for you to track an event through push notifications. We know Parse and the like are shutting down and people are looking for new solutions. So that's something that we're definitely considering right now and figuring out the way that we can do it best for our users to come use that also as a tool.
So let's talk about demographics. I mean, one of the things that is good to have is sort of numbers,
right.
But in those numbers, you kind of want to get a sense of who your audience is. So what kind of demographic information can you get from
Flurry?
From Flurry.
Yeah, so if you give us the registration information, we will show you the information that's related to that. But if you're not passing on demographic information to Flurry, we actually have a pretty robust algorithm that does a pretty good job of estimating who those users are. So we can give you an idea about the gender and age groups of the users, and through our tools you can also slice and dice and look at particular segments that are based on usage by those user groups, or understanding how many users in those target demographics are using your tool.
Do people then take that, because I could imagine taking that and then rolling it back into configuring levels and making sure that, or having special themes, or I mean, have you heard of those types of use cases where people are taking the data and then customizing based on that?
Yeah, that's actually something. Games to Win is one of our clients, and so they've actually used Flurry to understand more like who their users are, and then understand. There was one example, I think, where they had an in-app purchase for different kinds of cars that you could have in the game. And so they found that certain kinds of cars actually converted much better and kept users in the game longer. And so I know that's something that they went through the process of understanding who the users are and then appealing to them that way to increase conversions.
So you said earlier that Flurry is a mobile-first company.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a mobile app?
Yes, we actually did come out with one a few months ago. And what the app allows you to do, and we're continuing to iterate on it obviously as you do, is that you can take all the functionality of your app portfolio and we basically put it in your pocket. So you can get answers to a lot of questions, kind of like that. So you can see the basic health of your apps, like daily active users, sessions. You can see things for certain events. And more than that, we wanted to make it really useful for you to be aware of what's going on with your app. So my favorite feature is where you can set alerts. And so we only want to send you push notifications that you're interested in. Obviously, we've worked with a lot of apps and know that people get annoyed when you push them too much with notifications or things they don't care about. So you get to decide. So it can be things like setting a threshold where if my daily active users drop 50% day over day, then automatically send me a push notification. Or alternatively, like say I know I'm doing a big push a new app release or I'm adding a new feature. So then maybe I want to know if the number of daily active users goes up or the sessions decrease or any of those kinds of things, then you'll get a push notification and then you can investigate the stuff. And then within the app, we not only give you the number, but you can actually push it out and see inline graphs and get a little more in-depth look and understand what's happening.
So if someone, so can I set an alert for every time an in-app purchase occurs?
I don't believe we're down to that granular of a level yet. We do tend to look at things at a more aggregate level. So we're not there yet, but that's something that we would be able to do.
I just think it would be cool that every time you get an in-app purchase that it would notify you, and then maybe you could set that with like a little ching.
Yeah.